Hello everybody, and welcome to the introduction video of my course Find Your Flow. In this video I'm going to tell you a bit about the structure of the course and what you can expect from it. To begin with, there are 25 lessons that we'll be covering over 3 months so that the pace is comfortable and you have enough time for practice. Every lesson will focus on a particular sound or a number of related sounds, and will always begin with a detailed look into the articulation of the sounds. I'm going to tell you and show you what exactly you need to do with your tongue, lips and jaw to get the right sound. I'm also going to show you pictures of the position of the tongue for every sound and short video clips of native speakers saying those sounds so that you can trust me that people really speak like that. Then we're going to look at some common mistakes that speakers of Russian and some other languages might be making when trying to produce English sounds. And of course, I'm going to explain what you should not do to avoid those mistakes. After that, you're ready for practice. The practice section is packed with relevant words, phrases and sentences that you're likely to use on a daily basis. The explanations in the practice section are going to be very detailed, and I'm basically going to guide every movement of your tongue from sound to sound. We'll practice the sounds on their own and also in clusters that they commonly occur in, for example, pr, kl and s, and so on. So we'll work through all the tricky points that you might come across in the flow speech. Once you've practiced enough with my video, with the mirror and with the camera, you're ready for the final task. The final task in every lesson is basically around 5 sentences where you'll be practicing the sounds that we've covered, but also you'll get the opportunity to practice rhythm, connected speech and intonation. I'm going to guide you and comment on every little detail. So things like which words are stressed and which ones are unstressed, what do we do with them, what happens on the borders, like what falls out, what blends, what other processes might happen, and we'll be practicing all that together, bit by bit. And basically, you'll be learning the principles of rhythm, connected speech and intonation through practice. So by the end of the course, you will have learned all those different techniques without much theory, but just through applying it and actually trying it out. To my mind, that's an effective approach of learning through practice, because it's not just some theory and some terms that you've read in a book. It's something that you've actually tried and applied, and this way you're much more likely to internalize it and to take it away into your natural flow speech. Once you've practiced with the final task video, you can go over the sentences again yourself and practice them as many times as you want. And it's a really good idea to start recording yourself right away when you practice, because then you can look back and analyze what was good and what could be done better, and then try to correct those things and record yourself again, watch it again, try again. So recording yourself is really a powerful tool to help develop this awareness that we're after on the course. And then once you're happy with the result, you would submit it to your coach if you're practicing with feedback. If you're learning on your own, it's still a brilliant idea to record yourself and store the recording somewhere. Firstly, because it gives you much more motivation and reason to practice. When you have to produce this output, this tangible result of your practice, of your work, it really helps to make your practice more conscious and diligent. And secondly, if you keep all those recordings and store them somewhere, you can then look back and see your progress over time, and it's going to be worth it. What I would do to keep track of the recordings is I would create a private Telegram channel and upload all of the final tasks there. Well, that's just an idea. You can also store them somewhere in the folder on your phone or a computer, but do record yourself if you really want to achieve a good result. So that's roughly what the lessons would look like, and all the course materials, exercises and comments are going to be available as a Google Doc in English or in Russian. So you can choose the language that you prefer that's more comfortable, and if you feel like making your own notes, you can make them there, just make a copy of the Google Doc, or you can print it out and make handwritten notes if you wish. It's entirely up to you. Apart from the video lessons and the course book, there's also this amazing opportunity to connect with like-minded people, and I mean the Telegram chat. So in the Telegram chat, you can ask any questions and get answers from me or other coaches. You can talk to other participants and exchange your ideas, difficulties, or resources. And you can also take part in extra activities like challenges or mini shadowing. So do join it and do take part if you really want to make the most out of the course. Let me say a few words about the principles of pronunciation training. The first thing to understand about pronunciation training is that we're trying to feel and get control over our organs of speech. And we're trying to learn to control the process that's normally unconscious. So we don't normally feel our organs of speech that well. For example, the position of the tongue is usually a mystery to us. And we don't think about how we move our organs of speech when we speak our mother tongue, for example. And so for pronunciation training, we have to make that process conscious and really take control over our movements. That's really no easy task, and to make it a bit easier, what you can do is firstly practice with a mirror. That's the least you can do to see and control your organs of speech. Another great idea, as I mentioned before, is recording yourself, because then you can look at yourself from aside and analyze how you speak and how you sound. So don't neglect that, even if you study on your own, especially if you study on your own, because that is the way to become more aware, and this is exactly what we're after. And finally, because it's so difficult to control the movements of our organs of speech at first, we're going to start very slow and maybe slightly exaggerate it. So please don't rush. You'll have time to speed up later, but at first you have to take it really slow and control every movement. The second point I'd like to make about pronunciation training is that it's really important to listen to the accent that you're aspiring to, so to the target accent. For us, it's Standard Southern British or Modern RP, because you can't learn to speak in a way that you don't hear people speaking. And it's really important to surround yourself with this accent and listen to it a lot. So try to pick some resources in Standard British English that you like. It could be series, vlogs, podcasts, whatever makes you happy, and listen to it as much as you can. You can listen to it while doing your makeup, while doing the washing up, whatever, but make it your default background activity. And as you make your way through the course, you'll become more and more aware, and you'll start noticing things that you never paid attention to before. If you're into American shows, then I'd probably recommend cutting down on it. I mean, I don't want to ban American shows, but you have to balance it out with the British shows as well, or British vlogs. So make sure you surround yourself with the target accent, because that will really speed up the process, and that can be a great boost to your pronunciation training. The next point about pronunciation training I'd like to make is that it's not like training muscles, it is training muscles. So it's really a physical skill. You can compare it with, for example, learning to play the piano or learning to dance, learning to ride a bike, whichever metaphor speaks to you. Pronunciation training is basically the same. It's about gaining control over the muscles and building new neural connections that are responsible for those muscles. And so the first point in that respect is that you have to warm up before you train, before you practice. Because let's face it, you don't come to the gym and start heavy lifting right away. You have to warm up first. So don't neglect this pronunciation warm up, especially your jaw, tongue, lips, and the voice. So everything to warm you up and get you in gear for pronunciation training. And because it's such a complex skill, you have to be ready to give it time, repetition, and patience. It's bound to take time, and you have to be patient about it. So just try to embrace it and accept that it takes time to change certain things, especially this unconscious process of how you talk. And repetition is the key. So you have to practice regularly, and it's entirely normal to keep making the same mistakes and forgetting the same things. This is part of the process, and I'm going to keep repeating the same things and reminding you of certain things, and it's not because you're not getting it, it's just because this is how learning works, especially with this complex skill, the physical skill of pronunciation. So warm up, give it time, repetition, and patience. And the final point I'd like to make here is stay positive. I know it sounds really cheesy, but mindset is everything. It's okay to feel down and get upset when you can't work something out and you can't get something, but I'd like you to pity yourself just a little bit and be sad for just a little bit and then just get on with the work. And whenever things don't work out and you just can't get that sound right, I'd like you to think and say to yourself, okay, it's not really good today, but I'm gonna try again tomorrow and it's gonna be easier and it's gonna get better, because that's the way it works. You can't always be on top of things and you have to accept that as well. But just keep plugging away and stick at it, and with that kind of attitude, you're bound to have great results. Trust me. That's it for the introduction. I hope you enjoyed it and you're ready to work hard to find your flow. See you in the next one. Bye!